Hello and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, my name is Mike P. Waworski. I am coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most. Here on the Rundown, I bring you 2A views, conservative news. Craig, how was your weekend?
It was actually a pretty busy weekend. Spent time doing stuff with family and stuff like that, as well as doing a bunch of honeydews around the house. So it was no shortage. Plus, interestingly enough, we had some June showers this weekend in Sacramento, California, which is quite the oddity.
It's not like acid rain or anything like that?
No, not like acid rain.
Okay,
We don't
gotcha,
do
gotcha.
acid rain in California. We may do acid, but we do not do acid rain.
No. Acid rain's a big place for California's a big place for acid rain.
It used to be. Well, in LA, in Los Angeles. Once the rain comes through the smog and turns into whatever.
Okay. Well, you're not in LA?
I'm not in LA. I'm on the opposite end of the state.
I just assume it's all the same to me. It's California.
It's all the same. It's all the same. Okay, well, for a guy who's pretty good at geography, I would think you'd know a little better.
I am pretty good at geography, but I just assume that you all share in the same misery in California. So
no. Normally, June is a beautiful, beautiful sunny month. Normally, no issues with rain. But I mean, I like Florida, which with the rain? Isn't this the beginning of like hurricane season for you guys?
Oh yeah. We had hurricane season started like 3 days ago, and we've already had our first storm come through. Got a cute story about that, but you didn't get any mudslides with the rain?
No mudslides, no.
Yeah, we got I got an alert the other day for it was over the weekend. It was Friday. It came in Friday afternoon. We get tropical storm warning, and I'm like, everybody was all in a panic because it was the first one of the season. And I was like, tropical storm warning? I'm not even bringing in the trash cans from the curb. Come on, give me a break. That's nothing. That's nothing.
It's like, come on.
And it was nothing.
Like I always say, people complain about it getting hot, right? I'm like, look, it's not hot until it's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
It's like you're complaining, everything's on the news. Oh my God, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot. It's like or the first rain of the year. It's like everyone acts like it's never rained before or it's never been over 100 degrees. Right. It's like, you do know this happens every year, right? This is not a story.
Right. Well, listen, it's the sensationalism of it, right? It's back. We've got to prepare. You got to get your bread, your water, and your toilet paper, and that's what it is. It's the media. They don't have something that bleeds, so they got to find something just as good to scare you with.
Exactly. And folks, we're good at coming up with stuff to scare you with. Not so much scary. It's just mostly liberal policy. So it's really scary.
Which is scary,
stuff.
kind of, Yeah.
All right, folks. So, hey, if you're watching us, or obviously if you're listening to me, you are watching or listening, do us a favor. Take a second. Share, like, share, subscribe. Make sure your friends know where you're watching us, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, whether you're watching us on OpsLens, Spotify, or you're listening to us via however you get your podcast. Please make sure, share that information so that your friends can join in the conversation as it's taking place. Now, with that, we're going to go ahead and get on into today's news. This first story, once again, is based right here out of California, because California is the place you ought to be. There's a lot of conversation right now at the federal level regarding red flag laws. For those of you who do not know, red flag laws are where someone you may or may not know can go to a judge and declare you to be a danger to yourself or others and have your gun rights and your guns confiscated. And once again, you don't even know about it until they show up to take your guns. Anyway, California has had a red flag law, which is we call gun violence restraining order, since 2014. And since then, they have confiscated thousands of people's firearms. And sadly, they don't believe that they're confiscating enough people's firearms, because now you actually have an instance where they are, California is now going to be spending $11 million. That's right, $11 million to help inform people about, or to help promote the idea of people actually utilizing gun violence restraining orders or getting people to confiscate your guns. They're frustrated because, right now in California, law enforcement and or a close family member, once again, can go to court and try to have your guns taken away from you. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be successful. In this case now, they're saying, well, look, we're only confiscating 1,000 or so firearms every year from people. That's not enough. So we need to go after more people's guns. So let's spend some money helping educate people and letting people know, hey, guess what? You can take people's guns.
Craig, this is how much of a waste of money, right? Like, because you guys got so much spare money going on there in California, that you could waste $11 million on red flag laws. Do you have first off? You have to have that picture. Bring that picture back up. That cute little girl just standing there holding a red flag law sign. Okay, now I remember being a young tot, a lad, right? And my mother was a younger mother, and so I did a lot of things with her. I remember going to the store and doing a lot of walks and the things that you do with the going to the park, you do with your mother. I don't recall my mother ever taking me to the school or the Capitol steps and sticking a protest sign in my hand and making me a prop for big government or for anti-gun crowd. What they should do is find this kid's parents, and they should beat the parents in front of this kid. And then that's the simple math right there. Because if you exploit your children like this, you don't deserve to be the parent. So I'm sorry. Is that too aggressive? Is that too aggressive this early Monday morning?
No, it's not too aggressive at all.
Okay.
It's what's funny is I love I always use June 2nd. The Wear Orange Day. I always use June 2nd as an opportunity to share all of the individuals who are part of Everytown for Gun Safety or Mayors Against Illegal Guns. All these folks who are pushing this, who have wound up in jail, who are now wearing orange as a result of the fact that they were corrupt. And it's amazing. That's why they got rid of Mayors Against Illegal Guns. First of all, because everybody is against quote unquote illegal guns, but well, not everybody's against illegal guns, but what's interesting is that the number of politicians who are part of that group who've wound up indicted or in jail is astronomical.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And if we had a T-shirt with all of them in their orange jumpsuits, that would be kind of cool. So we may have to work on that for the future for next June 2nd. But yeah, it is a huge number, right? Yes, and California is the sponsor of politicians going to jail over gun crimes.
Oh, and not small politicians. You got Leland Yee, who was a leader in the state Senate, who was arrested for trafficking firearms. You got Lee Baca, who was the sheriff of Los Angeles County, who went to jail for corruption for basically in part taking bribes for concealed carry permits. I mean,
selling concealed weapons permits. Yeah,
right. I mean, that's just two of the most recent. There are still plenty out there. We could do a couple of days shows on that particular thing. But yeah, Mike, the thing about this is that once again, they're the only way in which they measure the success of a red flag law is how many guns they confiscate. They never tell you
amazing? Right?
how many they had to give back. They never tell you that, right? Because when they tell you that, you find out all of a sudden that, most of the time they wind up having to give the firearms back because they were wrong.
Yeah, instead of saying, like you said, because that was what they said is 750 guns confiscated. They could just go the other way and say we potentially saved 750 lives, but they can't. They can't even go there because it's so much the gun to them. We got to get the gun gone. The gun has to be off the street. They can't even talk about the number of lives they potentially saved because it's the gun that we have to highlight.
Well, because they don't know that they actually. I mean, if the majority of the time you wind up having to give the guns back, or it's been deemed that you've incorrectly taken someone's firearms, then you haven't saved anyone's life.
Well, exactly right. But you know what I'm saying? It's just they can't even get around and see that. We continue to argue with them about them talking about guns, and this is a way that they could get around talking about the number of guns for red flag. They, if they stood on the Capitol steps and said, we saved over 1,000 lives this week, it would sound a lot better than we took 1,000 guns. How do you argue with we saved 1,000 lives, even if it's a lie, and we know it is, because the gun flag, we know that the red flag laws for most of the time are nonsense anyway. But or the seizures are nonsense anyway. They could still get around it. It's the terminology.
It's a number though. The reason why they talk about the guns in this particular case is because it's a number that they don't have to exaggerate. Now, what they do is they don't tell you exactly what does that mean. Oh, we confiscated 1,015 rifle or firearms.
Right.
Well, yeah, okay, you confiscated that many. What they don't tell you is, okay, how many of them did you have to get back?
Yeah.
Right? Because when you find out that the overwhelming majority of those, they were deemed to have not been good, then or you have to give the guns back, then you find out how many. And by the way, then there's also the number of people who were supposed to get their guns back and never got their guns back.
Absolutely right. Yeah, they can't give you those points because they don't care about them.
No, they don't care about them at all. Rights mean nothing. And by the way, just so you know, as they put the children up there on the stairs with the sign as the prop, they don't care about the children either. Because if they did, you wouldn't have a president, for example, that doesn't believe in hardening schools, right? Does not believe in providing security at schools or making sure schools structurally are such that it's harder for people to get on and off campus. He doesn't care. Not only does he not care about that, he doesn't support that at all. He's opposed to it, according to his press secretary.
Right. We saw that, with the infrastructure improvements. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. He specifically said, no, he doesn't support that. So just so y'all know, they don't care about the kids. If there's any evidence that they clearly don't care about the kids, it's one of their newest debates on the issue of Roe v. Wade and abortion. And this is an op-ed piece that they have in the USA Today. Now, this particular piece in the USA Today, they're referring to female college athletes. And their argument in this particular piece is that, female college athletes are not going to want to go to universities. They need to think about where they're going to go to school because, you don't want to go to a school in a place where you're not going to be able to get an abortion because, what's going to happen to your professional career? What's going to happen to your college athletic career if you're not able to take the life of your child in the womb?
Yeah, hold on. I want to make sure we get. Let's see. Crap. Of course, it's the moment I go. Nancy Armour is this woman's name. Nancy Armour. I want everybody to see the photo of the woman that is telling your 16 and 17-year-old children where to go to get their children killed. Let's see. Craig, this is ridiculous. I saw this story. I'm like, this got to be some kind of joke, right? This is some sort of parody, some sort of satire. No, she's actually talking about we need to let all of the youths out there know what states are going to have Roe v. Wade overturned. That way they understand that when they come to college, abortion is not an option for them. That they would have to they would have to actually be responsible and take other means to raise a child or have a child. That it's not an option of birth control for them. Now, it's the same thing, she talks about in the article for the male athletes, that if you come here and start to spread your seed, that you're going to have a bunch of children rather than taking them down to the local clinic and solving the problem, as she so to speak. So this woman, the way her nonchalance with killing unborn children and then spreading those to your children and potential students was absolutely just appalling, sickening. Craig, how she, to her, abortion is as simple as wearing a condom or abstinence. To her, it's just a form of birth control, and she needs to let these potential students know because it's important.
Well, and that's what's so scary about this is the nonchalantness that many people have towards this, as though it were, once again, just a normal form of birth control. I've seen some of these stories, and you read some of these stories where people are talking about how they've had 3 and 4 abortions. It's like, I'm sorry, but this whole legal, safe, and rare thing, no, you've got people who are pushing a culture that aren't about making it rare, and they're not concerned. It's definitely not safe for at least one of the participants, and the
Yeah.
only thing they care about is making it legal, and making it, and not just that, but funding it and making everybody be okay with it. But they don't want to have a conversation about the science, about when do we know life begins, when is it a life, because obviously for many people that makes a huge difference when they know life begins. And if they knew that life began at, like, for example, 6 weeks, I'm sure most people would be in favor of the idea of no abortions after the first 6 weeks, obviously with the normal exemptions, to protect the life of the mother, yada 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 yada.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's amazing, Craig, because these are the same people that want to see you go to jail for stepping on the turtle eggs, but it's okay to kill the unborn child, and up until, well, depending on which state you are, up until birth in some states.
Yeah. And once again, it is amazing. It is astonishing the level of hypocrisy that they have.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, what I'm hoping is once Roe v. Wade is overturned, because I believe it will be, that at least then we can start to then have conversations about when life does actually begin. Now, all of a sudden, we can actually look at the science, and states can start to determine based on the values of their citizens, when it is
Yeah.
appropriate, or if it is appropriate at all.
Like
Which,
I said earlier, or in other earlier in the week or the month when we've had these conversations, this is the angry 50-year-old, 60-year-old woman who fought for Roe v. Wade in the 70s, right? And now she's angry about it again. And from the numbers we've seen, the youth out there today, the under 20s, those millennials, for the a large part of them are just indifferent about this, Craig. It's just not an issue to them. It's like it was. And now we have these old, bitter white women, for lack of a better term. They're out there stirring the pot again,
yeah.
trying to make sure that your children know it's okay to kill their children.
Mm. Yep, pretty much. That's pretty much
Yep.
how it appears to be. How it appears to be going down. And they're, by the way, going to ride this whole thing through the election.
Yeah.
Our local congressman running for office here. It's like he has absolutely no accomplishments. His name is Ami Bera. He has absolutely no accomplishments during his time in Congress. So what does he do? He starts putting out messages about Roe v. Wade and overturning of Roe v. Wade and how we have to fight against it, because that's really all he has to run on.
Yeah. I got to pick up something, right? Here's the most popular, storyline of the day. Let's go with that.
Yep. That's it. That's it right there. Speaking of popular storylines, we never get tired of talking about Captain Florida. This one is an interesting one. This one is from the Daily Beast. And now, so the headline, let me share the headline with you, and then I'll let Mike share a little bit more about the story. But the headline is, DeSantis moves to ban care for transgender youth, people of any age, on Medicaid. Now, is that actually what happened, Mike? Did he actually choose to ban transition care?
Yeah, it does make it sound like he's arresting people in hospitals, right?
Right.
It sounds like a bunch of dudes walking through with axe handles and beating gay people is what it sounds like in the title. And it's clearly not what's going on. The legislature and the legislature and the governor, they made it so that state funds. So if you happen to be on, state Medicaid or something like that, or money received from the government for your medical care, cannot be used for transgender issues. And that's like, I put in my insurance request so I could get breast implants, Craig, because I identify as a woman. Or I want gender reassignment surgery, or I want hormone therapy, or now the state of Florida said, well, if your insurance company wants to pay that, that's fine, but we're not paying it, and it's not coming out of our funded, state or federal monies that are used for healthcare.
Well, and it goes a little bit further in that The biggest issue here has to do with puberty blockers for minors, for teenagers. In other words,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes.
one of the things that's being pushed by many in the transgender community, because it is they want to be able to use puberty blockers on minors, on those as young as 12 years old, so that they don't go through the puberty process of becoming, if they're male or becoming female or becoming, they don't want that to happen. The problem is that allowing a child to make a decision that will impact them the rest of their life. You
Right.
go through puberty blockers, and all of a sudden, as a male, trying to become a female, and then you use puberty blockers, and then all of a sudden, at 18, 19, you decide, you know what? No, I'm not really a woman. I'm maybe just a gay man, right? Or just a man. Well, now your
Right.
physiology has
A man
been
that likes the
altered
Cowboys.
forever, right?
Yeah.
Because you've not been allowed
Right.
to go through puberty.
Right.
We don't allow minors to make medical decisions that will impact them the rest of their life. We just don't do
Right.
that. And this is but that's what they want to allow to happen.
Yeah. So again, the government said, the state of Florida said, you're not doing it with our money, and
Yeah.
we're not going to allow this to occur to these, like you just said, Craig, the underage without our input. So you're not gonna give these blockers to a 14-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old. So
Right. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, as an adult, what you want to do with your body is your choice. All right. As far as that's concerned. My problem is once again, when we're talking about minors, I mean, think about it. You don't, in California, as a minor, as an 18, 17-year-old, you can't go to a tanning salon with your parents' permission. But you can get puberty blockers and change, make an effect on your make a decision that will impact you the rest of your life. In some cases, even without your parents' consent or knowledge.
what are you putting in them tanning salons there? That's
Once again, it's them deciding, the state
yep.
deciding that they want to parent your children. I really believe it's just a camel's nose under the tent, so that they can start doing things like, oh, now there's a bill that will allow minors to make a decision about getting vaccines without their parents' knowledge or permission. They can already get abortions without their parents' knowledge or permission. The whole goal is the state wants to raise our children so that they can raise them
Yet
to be good
they want
little
them to be
commies.
21. They want them to be 21 to purchase a firearm. So
Right.
because they don't have the mental capacity. So, but we'll let them do that. Yeah, good. Dude. That's no double standard.
Right.
No double standard here. A little bit more from Captain Florida this weekend, Craig. And I had the honor of being involved in this. We have the Special Olympics going on in Florida, in Central Florida this week. Some 1,000 athletes coming in from around the country, around the world to compete. This is not qualifying rounds. This is the once every 4 years Olympics for them. And so it's an amazing organization, amazing what they do. But their organization said that they had to have their vaccinations to compete. And the governor of Florida has been telling them for months, hey, if you come to Florida and compete and you still have this law in play, or you still have this requirement in place, we're going to charge you $27.5 million in fines. That's based on the number of people that you're going to employ, the number of people that are going to participate, and the math that's already law here in Florida. So if you require them to have the vaccination, you're going to be fined $27.5 million when you get on the ground here. Sunday was the opening ceremony. Saturday is when all the athletes came to town on the airlift. On Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, the Special Olympics let it be known that they dropped the requirement for the vaccination, and the governor got on and said, "Listen, this is only right. These individuals just want to compete. These kids just want to compete, and you're telling them they've got to get a jab." Now, remember, Craig, a lot of these individuals have other medical causes, other medical issues going on,
Right.
And a lot of their doctors said, "No, I don't want my people that have these other things going on getting these experimental or non-experimental viruses, vaccinations pumped into their bodies." So there was a lot that weren't going to be here until very last minute, where the governor, laid some smackdown on Special Olympics, and they relented. They said, okay, no vaccinations required. But that was all Captain Florida.
Well, and the whole idea of mandating vaccinations, it's like, okay, so it doesn't keep you from getting it. It doesn't keep you from spreading it. It
Right.
may keep you from getting really, really sick and may keep you from dying. But it doesn't protect you from giving it to someone else. So how does it you think you get to mandate it on other people? That makes no sense.
Yeah, well, and that's what the governor said. And that's what our legislature said here in Florida, and now that's what the Special Olympics has agreed to. So,
Well, there you go.
it was nice to see that. And remember, you're talking about people, Craig, that don't get to make decisions for themselves. That's
Right.
one of the reasons they're in the Special Olympics. So there was a lot of controversy involved with this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that the governor's point was, you listen, they're healthy enough to be here, they're healthy enough to compete. You leave them alone, and they said okay.
Well, it's like we're getting to a point now where now you're getting to the point with people who are like, okay, I'm just going to choose to do this, like with masks.
Yeah,
I had an incident where my eye doctor, who I've been going to for almost 20 years, decided
yeah,
after all mask mandates and everything had been relieved, decided, well, I still want customers to wear masks, and I was like, you know what, no. I'm not going to participate in this theater
yeah.
anymore. I'm done. It was one thing when the
Right.
law required it. The law doesn't require it anymore. You say it's your business. I get it. You want to have people wear masks. Guess what? It's my money. I don't want to wear a mask, so I'm going to go someplace else to get
I've done it several times, yeah, including a doctor's office. Yeah,
yeah.
yep. I've
I'm
done
just
I've
not
done with the Kabuki Theater. Yep.
right, and that's all it is. Because every study out there now will show these these masks that you have us wearing don't do anything except
Right.
make people who are paranoid uh, a little less paranoid. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
they need to get over their paranoia.
There you go. Very
So
good. Very good.
yeah, I'm tired of participating in the Kabuki theater.
No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I mean, I've done it as well as you have, and yeah, like I said, the Kabuki Theater is over.
Right.
It's time to move on. And if there's somebody out there that says you still have to do that,
Mm-hmm.
take your money elsewhere. Take
Yes,
your money elsewhere.
please do. Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce this next story? Because I think this is a Florida young man story. So I think you need to go ahead. And there's a reason why this one is called "Stupid Should Hurt."
So I don't know if it was on the Instagram or the Facebook. I forget which social media platform it was on. This 18-year-old, I believe, if I recall his age, 18-year-old puts on I guess some sort of shooting vest, and he's got two firearms, and he says, "Somebody point me to the nearest school." Well, here he goes. Yes, hey Siri, directions to the nearest school is what it said. Hold on, let me turn my phone off now that I said that. There we go. The he got his butt arrested over this, and now I'm not sure, Craig, that an arrest might have been the right thing here. I know this definitely warranted immediate attention, all right, from law enforcement. And if Craig, if red flag laws had due process in them, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's be clear on that, because that's our issue with red flag laws, is that
Right.
there's no due process in them. I think this would have been an appropriate case for a red flag law that had due process, because I don't know that I need to charge a guy with a crime for making a bad joke, but
Mm-hmm.
I do know that I need to at least examine what's going on, make sure he's right in the head, and that other people are safe. I think this would have been an example of the time
Well,
to use a properly worded red flag law.
Well, but okay, so here's the reason why I support it. Number one, what they did was, I don't think he should necessarily be. I don't know that he necessarily still needs to be charged with crime. Because by the way, folks, turns out the firearms were airsoft. He
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
thought it was a joke. I mean, it was a
Right.
very, very bad, very, very poorly done joke.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't play like that. You just positively. There's just, if anything, should this guy lose his gun rights for having threatened a school? I don't know, but he definitely is not smart enough to own a gun. That's one thing that I would say.
Yeah, see, but legally,
Right.
can he? You know?
Yeah.
All right, listen, he made a joke. It was in poor taste. Are we going to violate First Amendment rights over that? If he had been on stage being paid as a comedian and said this, would we be taking the same actions?
Well,
But
you'd have to
instead he's
take a
putting
look
it out
at
over
everything.
social media.
Yeah, you'd have to take a look at everything in context. Is this something that he
Exactly.
normally
Yeah.
does?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
And,
for
and that's the
example,
point. This is not a. The
yeah.
point is this is not a cut and dry thing.
Well, but the way in which you address it is you go, you arrest him, you do your investigation, and then from there you decide whether or not you're going to further press charges or anything like that. But I think it is important to send a message to people. This is not, you don't kid like this. Like, we all know, for example, when you're in line at TSA, you don't make jokes about terrorists or about bombs. It's just like, that's just common sense, right?
Bombardiers.
Yeah. Common sense is you don't dress up in tactical gear a week after a shooting at a school and say, and pretend, oh, okay, show me the local school. You just don't do that. That's dumb.
Yeah. Part of being an adult is being responsible, right?
Right.
Definitely part of being a gun owner is being a responsible gun owner. Now, he didn't have real guns, so we know he's not even a gun owner, right? As far as we know from the story. Again, however, is this something that warranted an immediate arrest? It definitely warranted immediate police attention. I'll say that. And I think the red flag law, having been worded correctly, would have also been appropriate,
Yes.
As well. So, it's just one of those. Listen, don't be a jackwagon. Don't do this, and this is the guy where we're all looking around going, too soon, right? This is him.
This is that guy. This is too soon guy. He definitely needs, but I still believe in the message, teaching people, look, no, dumb, bad idea. Yeah. Y'all need to know, don't do this, because this is what will happen to you.
Right, and like you say here in the title, stupid should hurt, right?
That is if there is a definition of the problem with liberalism, it is that they want to protect people from themselves. And the problem is in many cases, I mean, that's how natural selection works, right? If you do something stupid enough, you cease to exist, right? You don't procreate, you're done. We're not going to allow that level of stupidity to continue to be in the gene pool.
Right.
Same thing here. It's like if you don't learn from your mistakes, and hopefully those mistakes are minor enough that you survive them, hopefully you learn from them. But you got to create opportunities for people to learn from those mistakes. And moving along to our parting shot, one of those mistakes that we make is actually, electing Democrats. This one I posted. I love this one. So this is gas prices, but you could easily point this to, jobs, the economy, immigration. So here you have a graph, right? And you could see gas during the Obama years, prices during the Trump years, and gas prices during the Biden year. Okay, let's be clear. We don't even have years yet because we haven't even been there. The Biden year. It's real simple, but you could say the exact same thing for immigration or illegal immigration.
Right.
Or unemployment or the economy.
Gross national product, oil, everything. Yeah.
Right, except it would be the opposite. But there. And okay, so now there's this other one. This one I saw, and you'll have to forgive me for the racy language in this one, but if you've been following the Depp Heard trial, you will be very quite familiar with the joke will make sense. If Shits and Giggles was a photo. For those of you unaware, that is Amber Heard, who is, infamous now for defecating in the bed with leaving it for Mr. Johnny Depp. And Deuces. There is Vice President Giggles.
Yeah. Yeah. One made one and one is one.
Yeah, okay. Sorry for the racy language, but it was hilarious. I had to share.
Hilarious. Yep.
Hilarious.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right. Hey, Mikey, how about a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Let's say hello to Guerrilla Manufacturing, to Grid Defense, to the California Republican Assembly, and USCombatGear.com.
All right. So has Guerrilla Machining changed their name to Guerrilla Manufacturing now?
He goes by both.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now I know. I didn't. I actually did not
I'm
know there was a both. Now I know. Folks, these are folks who all offer quality products and services, as well as just advocacy. They're folks who firmly believe in the Second Amendment and conservative values, which is why they support this show. So do us a favor. Links to their websites are in the description to this video and this podcast. Go there, check them out. If you like what you see, spend a little money with them and let them know that the guys over at the Rundown sent you. With that, we're going to be done for today. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will see you tomorrow on Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.